If you wanted to come by and see the dream catchers, feel them, you're still welcome to. You can call me if you'd like to attend your 10-foot dream catcher that day. If you want to feel them, you have to certainly come by. Okay. You want to do that? Want to follow me? Follow my place?
The sudden murder of George has forever traumatized us. You may see us cry, but the full extent of our pain and trauma will never be seen with the naked eye. The heartbreaking hurt goes far beyond any number of tears we could ever cry. Words simply cannot express the pain, anguish, and suffering that our family and friends have endured since George's murder. It has been truly unimaginable, but not as nearly unimaginable as the defendant's decision to take the life of a human being with no regard for the effect it may have on others. Although Chauvin will be sentenced today and spend time in prison, he will have the luxury of seeing his family again, talking to him, and he will likely get to spend time with them upon his release. These are all luxuries that my young cousin Gianna were robbed of when Chauvin made the active decision to kill her father. There will be no more birthday parties, no graduations, holiday gatherings, or other family celebrations. The laughter, hugs, guidance, advice, sense of security, and those opportunities to simply say I love you are forever gone. They say time heals all, and while I genuinely believe they're saying, it's challenging to do so given these unfathomable set of circumstances. Before I conclude, I must highlight a few things. George's murder, this trial, and everything in between has been tragic and devastating. Our family is forever broken, and one thing we cannot get back is George Floyd. Thank you.
Your Honor, if it's just for the record, this wonderful lady standing here is a Hennepin County victim advocate.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
And so, Your Honor, we'll next hear from the brother of George Floyd, Mr. Terrence Floyd.
Mr. Floyd, if you could state your full name, starting with your names.
Yes. Terrence Floyd. It's Terrence Floyd, Floyd.
Go ahead.
I'm here representing my brother. I'm from New York. On May 25th, 2020, my brother was murdered, everyone knows, by Derek Chauvin. The facts of this case were proven beyond reasonable doubt, and 3 guilty verdicts would have been rendered. This situation has really affected me and my family. Any family member that has went through this, we are part of a fraternity of families, and it's not one of those, fraternities that you enjoy. I just, over this last year and months, I actually talked to a few people, and I wanted to know from the man himself why. What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Why, when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there? A month before my brother was murdered, I was on the phone with him, and we had a long conversation. And as I looked at the video of my niece, the last conversation me and my brother had was he wanted to have play dates. He wanted to plan play dates with Gianna and my daughter. And we started setting it up. That can't happen. And I have to, my daughter's still young, but I still have to explain to her, because this is history. This is a case everybody knows about. So she's gonna find out, and I'm gonna have to explain that to her. And I think that's, to me, harder than even just standing here. That I have to talk to my daughter and tell her, about her niece, about her uncle, about the situation. That's basically reliving it all over again, years down the line. I'm here on behalf of my family, on behalf of me and my family, we seek the maximum penalty. We didn't want to see no more slaps on the wrist. We've been through that already. In my community, in my culture, we've been through that already. Smacked on the wrist. No. Because if it was us, if the verdict was reversed, there wouldn't be no case. It would have been open and shut. We would have been under the jail.
That's right.
For murdering somebody.
Say it.
So we asked for that same penalty for Derek Chauvin.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
George Floyd's brother, Phalonis Floyd.
One time Mandela, power to the people.
One time with this.
Sir, if you could begin by giving us your full name and spelling of your names, and I have permitted you to use your phone because you have notes on it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you may proceed when you're ready. Giving us your full name first.
Philonise Floyd, spelled Philonise, last name Floyd, Floyd.
And you may proceed.
One year ago, May 25th, my brother George was murdered by Derek Chauvin and his co-defendants in broad daylight with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I was a trucker, and immediately my life changed forever. I began to speak to the world for George from the United Nations, Africa, Canada, Japan, and so many other countries. Every day, I have begged for justice to be served, reliving the execution of George, while others begged and pleaded for Officer Chauvin to simply just allow George to take a breath. I haven't had a real nice sleep because of the nightmares I constantly have hearing my brother beg and plead for his life over and over again. Even saying they're going to kill me. Please, officer. Screaming for our mom. I have had to sit through each day of Officer Derek Chauvin's trial and watch the video of George dying for hours over and over again. For an entire year, I had to relive George being tortured to death every hour of the day, only taking naps and not knowing what a good night's sleep is anymore. I've been lifting my voice tirelessly every day so that George's death will not be in vain. Honorable Judge Peter K. Hill, I thank you for allowing me to share this today. George's life mattered. So my family and I, most of my niece, Gianna, she needs closure. I'm asking that you please find it suitable to give Officer Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, charge that he has been found guilty for.
All right, yes, all right, yes.
My family and I have been given a life sentence. We will never be able to get George back. Dad is our daughter's first love. He will never be able to walk Gianna down the aisle of her wedding, attend those magical moments of her life like a daddy-daughter dance, sweet 16 party, seeing her out for prom graduations, and she will never be able to have any personal memories with her father. With a smirk on his face and children present, Officer Chauvin used excessive force and acted against his training. Chauvin had no regards for human life, George's life. I stand before you today asking you to please help us find closure by giving Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, making sure he does his time consecutively without the possibilities of parole, probation, or getting out early for good behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frank.
For sentencing gives us an opportunity to speak about other matters that I think are involved in sentencing and where we are in the criminal justice system and the processing of this case. As a member of an elected office representing the people of the state of Minnesota, as well as the people of the local community, the officers, where Officer Tom is looking out. The way, of course, goes to keep the people who want to help away. He's placed face down on his pavement so harshly that it rubs the skin off his face. There's injuries to his face. from being face down on the pavement. He has injuries to his knuckles from just trying to lift himself up. And he's telling Officer Chauvin, I can't breathe. I'm dying. And Mr. Chauvin's response was, And all this time, I mean, imagine what Mr. Floyd is going through. When you talk about particular cruelty and torture, really try to appreciate what he's going through. He knows he's suffocating. They don't know that feeling of not being able to breathe enough. And he's begging, he's pleading, and he's being ignored. His concerns are being dismissed by somebody who has taken custody but not care. He was kept in that prone position for 9.5 minutes and was suffocated. That's what I'm going to say. That's particularly cruel. That is more cruel than a typical second-degree unintentional murder. Significantly more. This is not a momentary gunshot, punch to the face. This is 9.5 minutes of cruelty to a man who is helpless and just begging for his life. This court found that there were children present. And that was dismissed. We're going to move through. And the findings that the court has made certainly justify an upward departure because there are 4 of them standing in line, but in a sense not overlapping, but coming together to show this is not the typical second-degree murder. This is egregious. This justifies the double upward departure. To the top of the box, which is 180 months, we're asking the court to do a double departure, recognizing all 4 factors to 360 months. As I mentioned before, this is sentencing. This is the time for victims. Okay? This is the time for the loved ones of the victim and the community to have a say. Again, I commend this family. I commend all of the loved ones, the friends, the people that have been involved in this case for tolerating and being gracious. None of this, of course, can bring George Floyd back. That's very true. But this is the time for our criminal justice system to say, we hear you. This is the time for their criminal justice system to say, we recognize that this harm you're going through is real, and while we can't feel what you're feeling, we know we can do what your criminal justice system should do and recognize the severity of this crime and reflect that in the sentence to be given. It's time for this criminal justice system to say, we recognize this is more serious than a typical second-degree unintentional murder. For reasons the court found reflect that and give this court more than adequate basis to do that. Now, we asked the court to impose a sentence of 360 months to the Commissioner of Corrections. As you know, Your Honor, there are no fines in murder cases. We would ask the court just to reserve the issue of restitution and clarify that with the family and present that to the court for 30 days. Thank you.
What we gonna go tear up tonight? I want to hear how we gonna go celebrate tonight. I want to hear how we gonna celebrate tonight. When we get the justice that we've been waiting for over 400 years. Emmett Till, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, many others who go unnamed that were the strange fruit down south. Let's get it right today. Let's stand in unity, solidarity from now going forward, and we cannot lose. That's right. We love y'all.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have a duty to fight for our freedom. We have a duty to fight for our freedom. We have a duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. All power to the people.
And we got one of Floyd's families on here. Could y'all give us some love? Say we love y'all.
We love
I'm not going to attempt to be profound or clever, because it's not the equivalent. I'm not basing my sentence also on public opinion. I'm not basing it on any attempt to send any messages. The trial court judge, the job of the trial court judge is to apply the law to specific facts and to deal with individual cases. And so, Mr. Chauvin, as to count one, based on the verdict of the jury, finding guilty of an intentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2, paren 1, it is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 609.04, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses than count 1. As sentence for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to the court. You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life. Provide a DNA sample as required by law. Register as a predatory offender as required by law. And you receive a copy of the order and also the attached memorandum explaining the court's analysis. Anything further from the state?
22 is better than none.
Then as your man in
22
custody of the sheriff
years.
to be transported back to the DOC or whichever custody is currently holding. Back out of here. Okay, man, we're adjourned.
22 years. We're gonna see how the city feels about that.
We got the feds coming after you.
Oh yeah.
This is 1/3 of the 1 year.
14 years.
14 years.
2/3 of Minnesota. 2/3 of Minnesota. You do 2/3, you get 1/3 this time. See, that's it. You go to Chicago, you how long you been so doing that was weird.
That's not it. Hey, that's it. Y'all can kill fucking dogs and get more time than that. And when you kill a black man, you give him that sentence. Y'all keep saying Black Lives Matter. Black lives don't fucking matter.
One down, free to go. 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 One down, free to go.
Yeah, meaning that they just kind of they wrote it already.
We gotta pray. We gotta pray.
Everybody, let's get together and pray. Come on now.